Hello everyone, welcome to the Tom Collier channels. Today will not be started with particularly positive notes because ultimately what's happened today, as has just been announced by Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, is that the WWE are aiming once again squarely at NXT 2.0 to start what has become a fairly regular selection of releases. This has basically happened this time every single year, but this time they're aiming directly and all of their focus is on NXT 2.0. I was asked the question a couple of weeks ago as to future releases. I believe it was April 15th or around that time, and I did say at the time my expectation was that what was going to happen was that we would see releases, but we would not see releases from WWE main roster, instead NXT. The first releases that have been mentioned or announced as it were are Dakota Kai and Malcolm Bivens, with more potentially to come. This video, this particular live stream, will work in the same way many live streams have in the past when it comes to this sort of negative news. We will be staying on for a little while until the news essentially slows down, until we hear less names, until things calm a little bit. There's several occasions when I've gone live when something like this has happened, most notably when Bray Wyatt was released, for example, just so that we can all come together and say, isn't this a bit crap? And it really is a bit crap. Oh, we're having problems with the stream apparently. That's not great. It may be the stream quality. I switched it up momentarily. Let me know if the YouTube side and the Twitch side are both having a few skips. If that continues, I'll basically refresh the stream. It'll go to a pause screen for a couple of moments and then I'll be right back. Although on Twitch, you just have to wait a moment and it comes on as well. Right, so as dark a thing as it is to ask for, please do remember to like and subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow. We are currently encountering a little bit of an issue when it comes to YouTube monetization, but I just need to get more tax information from HMRC here in the UK to show additional registration information so that the monetization continues. Anyone who is currently a channel member, you are still a channel member, but essentially because monetization has been temporarily turned off, so too has been the spending from your side. Right, let's see what people are saying. Firstly, Manny Carvalho joining us saying, Dakota, I hope there's no more. I also hope there's no more. I never really... These are difficult moments when someone is fired surreptitiously with no real warning, no real capability to counter it. I will be exploring some of the details as to why as well. Captain Buzzy says, hello everyone. Seems like the annual spring cleaning has arrived and it's growing to become my least favourite time as a wrestling fan. Yeah, the WWE around this time every year seems to essentially clear out the cupboards a little bit. But it's getting worse because all that's left are very talented people. For those who don't know, I'm a big Dakota Kai fan. I really enjoyed her work as Evie. I really enjoyed her work against Rhea Ripley in the Mae Young Classic. I really enjoyed her work against Shayna Baszler early on. She in many ways was too good for NXT and should have been called up a while ago, but she wasn't. I think we need to start asking why. Ed says, I'm shocked by these. Me too, came out of nowhere. These says, hi mate, any word on Moxley's contract? Yes, it is due to expire soon. Nothing has changed. Michael says, did Dakota want to move to the main roster? I wasn't so sure once she got back on Twitch. So, it's difficult to say, based on the information that we have, whether Dakota Kai wanted to move to the main roster or not. It seems pretty clear when she eventually returned to Twitch that she was no longer interested, because the WWE on the main roster, you are not permitted to stream on Twitch. Now, as a general rule, with 2.0, the rules of the main roster have been filtering down, and that's been limiting and in many ways have set restrictions on different wrestlers. So quite a few wrestlers did decide not to take the step up. They refused the call up, as it were, knowing that they were enjoying what they were doing on Twitch. and knowing that the options on offer for them weren't so good. We've just seen Athena, for example, stating about the WWE wanting her to become a coach, but she had no interest in doing so. The WWE tells you what you're going to do, and then you either do it or you argue. When it comes to Dakota Kai, my suspicion is that they would have held her to ransom like they did Ali, but Ali's back now. So they managed to convince him. I don't know if they'd be able to convince Dakota. That said, Dakota Kai's storyline in NXT is long since over. There is no reason whatsoever for Dakota Kai to still be on NXT, and yet she was there. I have my questions as regards why she would remain. Sai says, thanks for doing this, Tom. No worries, Sai, we've done a lot of this, unfortunately. Manny says, oh, you think there's more? I think more is potential. I can't guarantee more. I can't sit here and say there's definitely going to be more, but I definitely think there'll be more that we don't hear about, just sort of subtly in the background. It's a difficult time, a very difficult one. Thank you guys for confirming the YouTube stream is good. Michael, please let me know if you're still having problems on the Twitch side. Tommy B says, Kai was good. Good luck to Kai. I really have high hopes for her. Really high hopes for her. I think she's one of those who, wherever she lands, she will improve them. So whether it's AEW or anything like that, we'll wait to hear more information. Manny says, for me, there's never just two releases. It's always more, unfortunately. True, but it might be more than just actual talent. It may be back of house staff, for example. It may be producers. NXT 2.0 is not supposed to be profitable. But a lot of changes came after Stand and Deliver. A lot of changes which really altered the landscape of what was expected. After all, Dakota Kai has just been released. It wasn't a month ago that she was one of the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. She's been heavily involved in everything that NXT have done for months now. And she just isn't there anymore. Hector says, Dakota being released hurts. She's always been one of my favourites, and according to Fightful, WWE wanted to re-sign Malcolm Bivens, but he declined. Now that is certainly a possibility on both ends there as well. Dakota Kai, as we know, took an extended break quite recently after losing to Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. Dakota Kai never actually touched the Women's Championship, so it's possible, amongst other things, that she's been running down her contract, for example. It's certainly possible that the WWE made this decision based on the impression that she no longer wanted to be there. Deckwick says, WWE was like, Tom wants an off day. They're like, no, we will drop this news. Yeah, great, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. For those who don't know, I was planning to have a day off today and not do my usual double stream until 3 a.m. I am having a few issues with YouTube monetization at the moment. Essentially, they've turned it off until I can get a bit more tax information for them. Bit of confusion as regards where I'm registered. I'm registered in the UK. That shouldn't be difficult to work out when I live in the UK. But we are where we are. And I just need to be in touch with HMRC, which is the governing body for tax authorities here in the UK, to show that I'm registered one more time so that they'll be able to actually officially pay me. Of course, they already can officially pay me because they take money from me. They just don't give money to me. Let's just say that. Hypnosis Bro says, I hope it was a case of Dakota wanting to leave and asked for her release. I hope so as well. I don't think that's an impossibility. I think of all the options, that's certainly up there. Dakota Kai has never struck me as anyone who would stay somewhere she's not happy. And all the different combinations and tag teams that she's had have been sort of ripped away. She's not looking like she's going to be that heavily featured going forwards. I am suspicious of the fact that those championships were taken away from her immediately. The Raquel Gonzalez has been taken away from her. The Wendy Chu, at least briefly, was taken away from her. Dakota Kai just vanishing from our screens, and she was still involved in storylines up until last month, or in fact this month I should say. This is a surprise. This does not look planned, and honestly, to be blunt, I don't think this is exactly going to save them a lot of money. It sounds horrible to say, but she's not one of the highest earners on 2.0. It says, any thoughts of the Ember Moon interview and the quotes coming out of it. I think far too much attention is being paid to her saying, oh, I don't want to dress like Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose is a perfect example of what she's referring to. Perfect example of the character she's not particularly looking for, and so on and so forth. It's a perfect example of that, so it's confusing that we would be doing that. Simon says, hey Tom, really gutted. Disappointed for Dakota, huge fan of hers, now hoping TNA Impact KOS division, knockouts, pick her up, a really perfect fit for there, a big star in Impact, same with Ember Moon, Athena as well. Impact would not be a bad landing spot. Honestly, at this point, with the amount of people in AEW, I would say Impact is where you're more likely to get positive attention than on AEW. So if I'm a female superstar, which I'm not, obviously, I would probably be going Impact, especially with the Inspiration stepping away. There's room at the top. Sorry about that, Michael. Not sure why that is. I'll do some double checks, see if there's an issue with the PC at any point. But yeah, by all means, if you're encountering problems on Twitch, please do jump over to YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, please do remember to hit the like button. That little thumbs up can make a massive difference. And subscribe if you haven't already. We are currently sitting at 1,085 subscribers. And we do regular news, shows, and watch-alongs here, so it may be worth checking out. Hector says, this doesn't look good for the future of Diamond Mine. I'm kind of worried about Roderick Strong's future, sadly, as he's not as young as the Creed brothers or Ivy Nile. Now, I've spoken about this in the past. When it comes to Roderick Strong, I don't think he's going to be signing a new deal. I really don't see Roderick Strong's long-term future in the WWE. In fact, I don't see his short-term future in the WWE. I've been very open about the fact that I personally believe what we're going to see is the Undisputed Era reuniting in AEW. Roderick Strong's the only one not already there. So, to see what happens. One thing for sure, both are so incredibly talented. I have no doubt they will succeed at whatever they decide to do next. I completely agree. Nobody in NXT has ever used social media as effectively as Malcolm Bivens. Nobody. And that's a pretty impressive thing. A pretty impressive thing that I'm very, very big on. Very big on. So we'll see how it plays out going forwards. I thought so, Ed. If you guys wouldn't mind, I'm just going to pause for a moment and just basically lower the quality of the stream. I'll be gone for all of about 30 seconds. Please don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Not growing. Yeah, pretty much. Manny says another one, a referee has been let go. Hector says Haaland has been released. Haaland, bloody hell. I did not expect to see that name. And yeah, I'm going to be honest, it looks like on the YouTube side, it's just plain not working. So unfortunately, I think I may have to call it there, work out some of the technical hitches and issues, and come back to it. Because right now it looks like nothing's working and all I see is a black screen, which is fantastic. Okay guys, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to give up on this particular one. There will be more updates to come. Please do keep an eye on my Twitter side, and as I try and work this out, I will stay in touch and let you know what's actually happening. So apologies for all the drama and the issues. I will be in touch with more information when I get it. Until then, do apologise, but I will see you all very soon.